That's not a line from a Netflix drama about Jim Jones's son discussing Chrissy Lampkin. It's a voice memo that was leaked without any filters or a script, and what he said is not only heartbreaking, but damning. She didn't just cheat on my dad, she ruined this family. I watched my own father remain silent while she tore us apart, and he gave her time to process that. For years, fans believed Chrissy was just a ride-or-die fiancé, but in private, she was reportedly taking Cameron's late-night calls while Jim was out collecting checks to keep the family afloat. Now, the son who has been silent all this time is dismantling everything. This isn't reality TV drama anymore. It's real blood, real betrayal, and a son finally telling the story his father was too broken to tell himself. The lies, betrayal, arguments, and the day he walked in and saw something he wasn't supposed to see. Stay right there, because once you hear what he reveals next, you'll never look back. That's not a rumor. It's a voice memo from Jim Jones's son, and it's been making the rounds in every group chat from Harlem to Houston for years. Chrissy Lampkin did more than just break his heart. She destroyed everything we had left, and he just stood there watching her burn it all down. The woman who waited, fought, and stayed was hailed as the ride or die. But behind the designer shoes, VH1 edits, and staged reunions, there was another Chrissy who allegedly left broken pieces everywhere she went, including inside her own home. Now that house of secrets is coming to light because Jim Jones, the one person who never spoke, son, is finally speaking, and he's not just talking, he's revealing. Let's go back a few years. Everyone remembers the silent rumors that Chrissy had been emotionally involved with Cameron, Jim's close friend Dipset, who was her brother's family by loyalty rather than blood. What if I told you that in addition to the rumors being true, Jim's own son saw the collapse from the front row? I was only a teenager, but I wasn't a moron. I saw the DMs and how Jim looked at her after learning about it, but he remained as if nothing had happened. This isn't a fan theory anymore. Firsthand. One cryptic Instagram story, a black background and white letters that read, "Have you ever had to act like everything's cool knowing the woman who ruined your childhood is sitting in the next room?" Had no tags, names, or context, but fans knew. It was testimony from someone who had every reason to remain silent but chose not to, and now the internet is on fire. Chrissy was trending again within 15 minutes, but this time it wasn't for a new reality TV comeback. Rather, it was for what people are calling the betrayal of the Harlem house. When blogs attempted to get clarification, they were met with the voice memo, which was a 47-second clip with no music, no filters, and no edits, just a grown man facing his demons. That influenced his early years. My father isn't flawless, but the way she treated him still baffles me. I don't even think he forgave it. I think he simply gave up. To fully comprehend the gravity of this story, we must return to the initial scandal, where the alleged affair with Cameron wasn't a one-night blunder. It was a 2-year emotional roller coaster, according to family sources. With late-night FaceTime calls, secret hotel meetings while Jim was on tour, and a string of business trips Chrissy allegedly took by herself, but always in the same cities. As Cam, we also thought it was a hoax until an unnamed former assistant I had to arrange for her flights to wherever Cam was performing. So I didn't give it much thought until I overheard them fighting on the phone. If Chrissy came forward, let's call her Kesha. Kesha worked for Chrissy from 2014 to 2016. And she would say she was going to LA to handle a shoot or do fittings. According to Kesha, Jim once flew out early to surprise Chrissy in Atlanta. He entered her suite. He discovered Cam's wallet on the nightstand, not Cam, just the wallet tanned. Chrissy stood there in shock and silence. I'm not sure what happened next, but I do know that she told me to cancel. The following day, she was sobbing and trembling and left the hotel before dawn. Fans were not shocked by the new accusations. In fact, many claim to have seen the warning signs all along. Here are a few fictitious but eerily realistic sounding tweet highlights from Twitter X. Not Jim's son saying what we've all been thinking since 2012, that Chrissy Ben was acting funny around baby mama. She played the long game. got the ring, and still emotionally dipped on him. Jim deserved a more honest conversation with Ray. I recall that LHNY reunion, and the way she looked at Cam when he unexpectedly showed up wasn't friendly. That the internet's newest obsession was what actually happened in the Jones household. But the story doesn't end there because Jim's son's subsequent revelations turned this scandal from messy to traumatic. In the second section of his voice memo that was leaked, Jim's son describes a memory that is so painful and personal that it is causing a cultural upheaval. My pop said, "You could have told me you didn't have to humiliate me like this when I was 14 years old and heard them fight through the walls. I didn't comprehend everything, but I knew it was about him and Cam." And she responded, "Jimmy, you were never truly here, and I needed something real." "You were never truly here," that line said. The internet went silent because, whether it's real or not, that's a lasting scar, and now it's public knowledge. After that night, Chrissy stopped sharing family photos. Jim appeared aloof, and the chemistry that fans had once adored gradually faded into awkward quiet. Fans are pointing out that during interviews, the signs were all there. We just didn't want to believe them. One commenter said that the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves to maintain a positive online persona. Jim, on the other hand, never once publicly addressed the Cameron rumors, not even when Cam mysteriously snuck Chrissy into a song. The question of why Jim's son chose this particular moment to speak and what this means for the Jones families. Future is still open because the next voice memo reveals something even darker that could help explain why Jim never defended it. It vanished from streaming the week after it was released. The second voice memo, why Chrissy never got canceled and why the individuals closest to them remained silent until now, it's changed everything. "I didn't talk before because I didn't want to offend my father, but seeing him deteriorate every year," while she smiled for the cameras as if nothing had happened. No, that's manipulation, not love. Let that breathe. Betrayal isn't just about cheating anymore. It's about the silence that follows. Gaslighting the illusion because Jim was reportedly falling apart quietly behind closed doors while Chrissy was out here giving relationship advice. On reality shows, building brands, and flipping tables for drama. Guess who was watching the entire time? Then I used to ask him, "Why don't you leave?" When others asked why Jim had never married Chrissy after all those years, he would simply respond, "She's all I got, man." That stayed with me because he truly thought that she was his only choice. Was it cold feet, the industry, his personality, or something more profound? Jim's son is exposing himself now, not for influence or attention, but for release. And let's discuss this next section because this is true. He fears that if he lets go, he will lose not only a partner, but the only structure he has ever known, no matter how toxic. Now, picture growing up in that environment and watching your father seek peace while drowning in chaos. The story changes at this point. One of the most outrageous allegations was made in a private direct message that was leaked to a gossip website by a former Jones family employee. Stated she had access to everything, including bank information, passwords, and contracts. And she would intercept his calls, delete messages, and cancel meetings without telling him. There were times when Jimmy would show up. Let's be clear, this is all alleged. We're talking about emotional control on a higher level. This isn't just betrayal. It's chess, move by move, piece by piece, until the board has only one king left. And he's two. To venues and be informed the event was canceled, only to discover later that Chrissy pulled the plug behind his back. Weary of fighting, another leaked email purportedly from Chrissy's publicist to a television producer says, "Please don't bring up the Cameron rumors during the sit-down." Chrissy is open to talking about how her relationship with Jim has changed, but the Cam narrative is off limits. Why would it be off limits if it was never true? Why avoid a ghost unless that the most outrageous part is that Cameron is now making fun of himself on his Instagram story? He shared a video of himself from an old Dipset music video standing next to Chrissy, captioning it, "Some memories age like wine." Ghost was real, wearing pink, mink, and a sneer. No background, no follow-up, it's not looking good for Chrissy. Fans, as they are now resurfacing a 2016 interview in which Cam was asked about women in the industry and he smirked. It was just smoke. But the internet caught fire within hours. And people began assembling old clips, comparing lyrics, dissecting interviews, and creating timelines. "Some women are loyal to the spotlight, not the man who holds it," he said. Many now think that was a direct strike at Chrissy, and if it was, she never retaliated or disputed. It should simply turned around. Now that Jim's son is speaking up, a new story is emerging that places Chrissy in the "She was toxic to us, to the whole family," and right there, everything snapped. The son states in the last seconds of the voice memo. Not just a romantic scandal, this is a family breakdown. A years-long emotional erosion coded in, not to mention the expensive outfits and Instagram filters Chrissy proposed to Jim on national television. Instead of waiting for him to pop the question, she grabbed the opportunity and declared, "I got this." At the time, people referred to this as an empowering boss move. But now, fans are wondering if it was merely another tactic to manipulate the story so that everyone believed she was the glue while secretly pulling the strings, when Jim didn't accept the proposal right away. We noticed the tension, but we didn't realize the full context until now. It wasn't cold feet, but rather internal conflict. It was a man divided between love and loyalty and a son watching everything fall apart. And it gets even worse when an alleged audio leak is made anonymously once more. It seems to be a recorded phone conversation between Jim and an unnamed male friend. It's grainy, but it's clear enough to hear Jim say, "She doesn't even look at me the same." Be in the crib feeling like a ghost, like I'm in her way. Let that sink in. Chrissy is silent. No tweets, no Instagram posts, no denial, no damage. Control while all of this is happening in public. You know what that silence means: guilt or strategy, because Chrissy is aware of it. She has 10 years of experience spinning stories, from hip-hop and romance to fashion deals, and she always knows how to make herself appear like the misunderstood queen. However, this time, the story is slipping away from her, and more alleged. Insiders, people who once worked behind the scenes at VH1 as stylists, are speaking up. Imagine living like that. One DM claims that she always prepared a fallback plan in case she had to go. She had leverage, information, and secrets. Another Jimmy wasn't paranoid. He was just and used to say, "If she leaves, I'll lose more than just love. I'll lose everything." The last time Jim Jones gave an honest interview about love, he stated, "Sometimes you stay because walking away feels like failure even when you know it's already over." After 2015, his music slowed down and he stopped touring and dropping as frequently. Fans are divided over whether Jim's son is simply airing his dirty laundry for attention or whether this was necessary for him to reclaim his truth. But one thing is certain, that line sounds different now, doesn't it? It sounds like a man who stayed too long in a burning house and a son who watched the fire helplessly holding the ashes. The portrayal of Chrissy as the devoted, affectionate, and combative fiancé is crumbling, and underneath it lies a decade of secrets that could completely change our understanding of what will happen next. The lawsuits, the apologies, the inevitable damage control that will follow. But first, we must discuss the one thing that nobody anticipated: Jim's current plans. That this is all public knowledge, and believe me when I say that after hearing what he has been hiding for years, you will understand that this was never just about love, but rather about survival. Because when the truth finally comes to light, you will see that some people weren't merely surviving a toxic relationship, but were actually ensnared in a performance or long-running show, where, according to new insider claims, Jim Jones was prepared to leave several times, but every time he got close, something would inexplicably leak. A private conversation would appear on blogs. A fight would be captured on camera, an old feud would resurface. And guess who always had the one former stylist who worked with both of them, claimed that Chrissy was ready for the perfect counter-narrative. She claimed that whenever Jim tried to change the subject, she would instantly become the victim in public. She was skilled at crying on camera and then calling it quits. The source even recounted a particular instance backstage at a reunion special where Jim was silently keeping it together. He sat down and didn't say anything else after Chrissy said, "Don't forget what's on the line." What does that mean? Well, there's something more significant at stake, like money contracts or secrets. Or was Chrissy clinging to a more powerful version of Jim that the world would never be able to see? Two alleged industry insiders, one from a former reality TV production team, and the other claiming to be a talent manager, claim that things get even messier. Chrissy allegedly had a backup plan the entire time, a second life, which was strategic, rather than romantic. She allegedly met privately with executives about starting her own She Was the Star, the brand, and the boss in Series 1, which didn't feature Jim at all. If Jim didn't cooperate, she knew where the skeletons were buried, both literally and figuratively. Of course, this is all alleged, but the timeline seems a little too tidy, especially when I told her if you leak that tape, I'm done. Take the most recent bombshell, an anonymous audio clip that was released 3 nights ago. The voice is severely distorted, but the content is unmistakable. "You're done, baby," she said. I realized then that I was only an accessory. The internet is certain that the voice belongs to Jim. And the tape might be the supposedly lost footage from that notorious 2014 hotel incident in Atlanta. If what fans are assembling is accurate, the footage wasn't lost. Rather, it was concealed by Chrissy Teigen once more. However, Jim's son just shared something else. An old family photo was torn in half down the middle, with Jim on one side and the other side gone. The caption read, "Sometimes peace comes with loss." Fans are going crazy, DMing, tagging, and resharing in an attempt to determine whether this indicates that Jim and Chrissy are officially done. But here's what insiders are now saying, that Chrissy's next move is already in motion. She is reportedly negotiating a new deal, a Talal documentary in which she controls the narrative and finally speaks her truth. If that isn't damage control, I don't know what is. But after hearing what Jim's son had to say, the people aren't buying it. In a surprise interview clip from an upcoming podcast episode, Mama Jones says, "I've been told, y'all. She wasn't right. But y'all said I was crazy. I'm not crazy. I just saw the devil." It's especially unsettling to watch years of silence now break down into chaos, especially after what happened next. Mama Jones doesn't hold back when she claims that Chrissy cut Jim off from his family by making holidays awkward and preparing family dinners. She also says that you have ever watched your child fall in love with a storm and dance in lightning, thinking it was a light show, but that storm was never going to stop at Teat, just waited until he was too exhausted to run. Feel like interrogations, and she even suggests that Chrissy threw away letters that Jim wrote to his late friend Stack Bundles. For fans who are familiar with Jim's past, that one came as a shock. So now we have Jim's son, Mama Jones, alleged, former employees, and anonymous insiders all agreeing that Jim was just a devoted heart and Chrissy wasn't the victim, she was the puppeteer. Chewy free, Jim Jones chin Chrissy exposed. And family first are among the hashtags that are swamping timelines. Fan-made timelines, charts, receipts, and detailed breakdowns of when the relationship soured and why Jim remained silent. Even celebrities are weighing in, as rapper Mayo tweeted. Legendary producer Swizz Beatz liked a fan comment that stated Jim deserved more than staged love and real pain. So what? Reality star Kim Bella commented on a Shade Room post, saying, "Ain't no real one going to let his family drown in silence. Salute the son for stepping up." According to some insiders, Jim is already in negotiations to release his own message, potentially in the form of music. Rumor has it that he has recorded an entire EP called Red Flags and Roses, All Pain and Waces, All Pain and Waces. According to some insiders, well, pain. As I see, according to some insiders, Jim, as I see, is a red sea, as I see, according to come on a willful Amalek. We take to see MITY, I call it with them so on quo I see at we see what I see you with them you see we can sight to kaba with fi you like to kai you to we to go to we see you we kick it soon we just a guy with you to kick you get it you should or I kick you to kick you could I could you kick I that kick issue you kick as a kick you see with the can we Truth all him, and he intends to release it without any prior notice, promotion, or announcement. Emotions go directly to streaming. And the streets are prepared because Jim may finally be ready to share his narrative uncut, unfiltered, and unchained when he finishes playing the quiet ride-or-die character. Chrissy is still silent and has not made a remark, but her staff is supposedly time will tell if they prepare a formal response, such as a lawsuit, documentary, or another passive-aggressive Instagram post. But one thing is certain, the house of cards is collapsing. What appeared to be black love goals on TV is being revealed as emotional warfare behind the scenes, and the people involved are not hiding anything. We, the people, are waiting to see what else they've been hiding, because if Chrissy could have planned all of this in plain sight, what else did she bury behind the scenes? This story isn't finished yet. In fact, it's just getting started, because for every silence that has been broken, another one is revealing another truth that is clawing its way out. Scenes, what else did Jim give up out of loyalty? And most importantly, what would you do if you discovered that the love you had built your life on was never about love at all? Was it fame, control, or simply survival while wearing Gucci? Please share your thoughts in the space provided below, as we need to discuss, since you already know that the next chapter of this story will be even more bizarre. There will be more audio, more leaked texts, and more. Please let us know in the comments section if you think this is Jim finally waking up, the sun is being brave or messy, or Chrissy is the villain or a victim of spin. And please hit the like button to subscribe for the next drop. Now that the mask is off and the truth is leaking out, what do you think? Is Chrissy ever really for Jim? Or was this all one long, agonizing performance? Or did Jim's son just say what we've all been thinking for? Hidden truths are coming too. Light. If you thought this was explosive, wait until you see what comes next. Do you think Mama Jones will finally speak out through music? Do you think Chrissy should even have a platform to defend herself like this? Are we witnessing the end of a toxic love story or the start of a long overdue reckoning? Please share your thoughts, opinions, and conspiracy theories in the comments section below. If there was even the slightest bit of truth in the video, please subscribe. If you're sick of the falsehoods and want to see more unvarnished facts, click the bell, because the upcoming leak could potentially shake the internet once more, and have faith that you won't desire to overlook what's about to happen. Just Drama is now a full-blown reception. Revolution remains